Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1209A, and today's date is February 20th, 2017, and the title of the episode is The Economic Recovery Illusion is About to be Exposed via the Corporate Media. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we've been talking a long time about how this economy is not doing well. We've been looking at the hard economic data, and we can see that we're in a recession. From all the data that we've been looking at, from everything that we've been seeing, we're in a recession. I mean, retail is contracting rapidly. hhgregg, well, it looks like it's going to be the next retailer to announce store closings. We don't know how many just yet, but we can see there has been a lot of stores closing at this point, and this is going to continue. Actually, 2 weeks ago, Goldman analysts were stunned when they noted that in recent weeks, gasoline demand in the U.S. has collapsed to levels that suggest that everything is not well with the economy. In fact, as the bank's oil expert Damien Corvalian said, to achieve the 5.9% decline suggested by the weekly data, our model requires PCE to contract 6%. In other words, a recession. Now, what we're seeing here is that Goldman tried to quickly change their narrative that we're heading into a recession or that we're already in a recession. So, because the gasoline demand right now would suggest that the U.S. economy is in far worse shape than the official data represents. Now, what we're seeing here is that they're trying to keep the illusion alive that the economy is still doing well, that the economy has recovered, that Obama has handed off an economy that is absolutely fantastic. And we can see that demand for gasoline is declining rapidly. We can see the economic data from GDP to retail to housing, that is all declining right now. And what's very interesting about all of this is that tenured U.S. economists, they've been looking at Trump's overly optimistic GDP forecasts and other forecasts that he's put out there. Because the Trump administration, they drafted an economic growth forecast in its budget plans, and they're relying on assumptions that are far rosier than projections made by independent agencies and most private forecasters. So what are they? Well, the forecasts, which were initiated before President Trump, took office, project gross domestic product, a broad measure of national output of goods and services, growing between 3 and 3.5%. Now, we know through Obama's term, he's never had any year that was above 3%. The only quarter that he had above 3%, well, they exported soybeans. They revised the numbers lower to push one quarter up around 3.2%. Trump, well, he's out there projecting a growth much larger than this. He's hoping to hit 5%. Now, this is not unusual because when we look at 2009, when Obama took office in the middle of a recession, the president projected GDP growth of 3.5% to 4.5% for 2010 to 2014. And this is on page 173 of the fiscal 2010 budget. Now, a lot of presidents do this. Yes, they come out with these crazy GDP numbers telling you how great it's going to be. The difference here is that Trump understands that the economy is not doing well. The powers that be, the deep state, the elite, they know, the central bankers, they know the economy is not doing well. So Trump is putting out the message to let everyone know that this economy, as we move into, very interestingly, the latter part of this year, he says, the economy is going to take off and it's going to be better than we've ever seen it before. Now, we know the corporate media likes to prove Donald Trump wrong. They like to come out here saying that he's using fake news, that he's using alternative facts. And he's setting them up. He wants them to do this. And he's going to continually say that the economy is doing well. Now, remember, in his news conference, he said the economy is a mess. He let out a message that the economy is absolutely awful. Of course, the corporate media didn't say a word about that. Now he's telling them that the economy is going to improve even better than it is right now. All jobs are going to be coming back, manufacturing is going to be coming back, and this is all going to happen in this year. Now, Treasury Secretary, well, he's out there saying, well, some of these numbers that we're looking at, like unemployment, well, they're really not real. They changed the calculations, and we really can't go by this. And we see a University of Oregon professor, Mark Toma, is even worried that Trump administration will turn to fake data or alternative facts. Now remember, the Obama administration, during his period of his presidency, they changed the calculations for GDP, unemployment, inflation, and almost everything else. And when we look at the actual hard data like student loans, well, they surged during his presidency. Food stamps surged during the presidency. The federal debt surged during the presidency. Money printing surged. Healthcare costs surged. The labor force participation rate imploded. The median family income imploded. Home ownership imploded. So right now they're going to say that Trump is going to be using alternative facts. He might even fake the data or change the calculations. Now, he's going to have the corporate media show the world that the economy is not doing as well as it's doing. He's going to show that we're not in a recovery. He's going to continually say that the economy is going to be getting better and better, and the corporate media, the deep state, the central bankers, what they love to do is show the opposite of what he's saying. So they're going to call out into the open that the unemployment data that he's showing right now is fake, which will then put that into focus. They will also take the GDP numbers, put that into focus. He's exposing what has happened in the past. And it's funny how his timeline of the economy growing and being incredible is really around the third quarter of this year, which is when Charles Nenner, Cliff High, Harry Dent, and others who are saying that, well, the economy might not be doing that well as we get to the latter part of this year, maybe in the third quarter. Very interesting. Now, Alan Greenspan, who is head of the Federal Reserve, he is out there agreeing with Ron Paul, saying that, yes, gold is actually money and everyone should own gold. He said, I view gold as the primary global currency. Significant increases in inflation will ultimately increase the price of gold. Investment in gold now is insurance. He's saying that the Brexit will almost certainly trigger a collapse of the ECB despite the UK not having adopted the euro. And we can see this right now because the UK is not the only country. It is Italy. We see France. Germany is looking at this saying, we don't know if we're going to be staying in. And he says, those people who are purchasing gold, it's not for the short run. It is for the long run. It's to ensure your wealth. And he came out and said, yes, gold is now insurance. Now, this is very odd for a central banker to come out and say this. And we know that he's kind of a gold bug before he was in the central bank. And he's coming out and he's actually agreeing with Ron Paul right now. Because what's happening right now is these individuals, they see and they know and they understand that this system is coming down. It will not stay up the way it is. The whole thing is based on an illusion. The foundation is made with cards. And it cannot support what is coming, and it will collapse and fold. This is why Trump is out there pushing the idea that this economy is going to be better than ever. And they're already out there saying, well, he's going to fake these numbers, he's going to fake those numbers. He wants the corporate media, he wants them to put this out into the open, to have a discussion of, are these numbers real, to prepare us for this collapse coming up. And that's what's coming right now. We have this major collapse heading our way. We've already seen all the data. We know things have been manipulated. We just go to Shadow Stats with John Williams. He's been tracking this for a very long time. And when you look at the unaltered calculations for inflation, GDP, unemployment, you can see what the real numbers are. You can see the problems in the United States. Now, of course, the government kept everyone quiet. The central bankers, the deep state, by giving people food stamps, more welfare, more programs. Just enough to get by, just enough not to complain. This is how they kept everything hidden for a long time, while the corporate media was out there telling everyone how great everything was. Well, we're coming to the point right now where things are rapidly deteriorating and falling apart. They're rapidly deteriorating in Europe. They're rapidly deteriorating here in the United States. And we're approaching a time and a period of time where things are going to rapidly change right in front of our eyes. The system is coming down. Retail is contracting. Housing is contracting. The debt is continually rising. All of these things cannot work together. All of these things together spells a disaster headed our way. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.